Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. I want to start off by saying thank you to all of our Booster Club members for your many donations and much more, your prayers. We visited faraway countries and strange lands. We've even spoken to dignitaries and were detained for spreading the glorious gospel in Cuba. The truth is that the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel were scattered throughout the world. Help us on our journey as we continue to raise up the nation of Israel. 12 tribes worldwide. Join or donate today. Shalom.
Your activism needs to be about keeping these commandments.
This is not what I expected out of them. The true Bible, the book of our fathers.
Right. The Most High has given us guidance on what we need to do.
It's also Eli. It's also Nahshon. Also Yikiel.
Let me start out. I'm Deacon Yalsop, and let me introduce my panel.
Shalom, Israel. I'm Captain Sariah.
Shalom, Israel. Also Nahshon. Most High in Christ bless.
Shalom, Officer Eliakim, Most High in Christ bless.
All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Now, let's put up the disclaimer. Let's put that disclaimer up there because, again, it's like I've said a few times on this program. We always have to put this up here. Again, there's a bunch of nonsense, actually, that we have to do this because we have enemies, SPLC. I'm going to point them out. They're on a mission to try to label anything that is against truth as a hate group. So let's deal with that. Okay, let's go into that. Captain, go ahead and get it.
Israel United in Christ. We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a non-violent, Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if any hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone, or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities.
Now, it's amazing that we have to read this. It really is.
Right.
Because like I said before, we are the so-called slaves, and we've been robbed by a main hate group. The American system that put us in slavery, robbed us, stole all our resources, and now that we're trying to get some kind of justice our way, just the mere fact that we're speaking about the injustice that happened to our people, we are labeled by our enemies, by the same slave masters, the descendants of them. All of a sudden, we're a hate group, and they try to attach criminality to us, make up stuff. I'm gonna read an article where that was the case, where they actually tried to affiliate criminal activity with IUIC. We're going to talk about that, okay? Let's finish reading that thing. Let's get it all out there, and then we're going to get back into our lesson. Go ahead, put it back up there. Go ahead, Cap.
All right. There again, let's start from the beginning. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a nonviolent, Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat as stated in Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1, the King James Version.
Okay, all praise to the Most High. So for our being technical on it, we just had to bring that out we had to bring that disclaimer out there. Right. But it's nonsensical for us to even have to go through this. But that shows you the intent of our enemies to try to label anything that is about truth. They try to label it as evil, and if they can get people to agree with that, then their job is done. What I want to do is we getting ready to begin, and I want to bring out certain things, okay? Because I want to say this about this hate group stuff, this hate group label that the SPLC is trying to sully all those who seek justice and truth, okay? We're actually fighting against a major hate group, okay? Meaning SPLC. I'm telling you straight. Their objective is to keep Black and Latino and Native American minds in perpetual slavery and servitude. That's their objective. As long as we are selling dope, as long as we are murdering each other, as long as we are prostituting our women, running up and down the gridiron, running up and down the basketball court, singing and dancing, as long as we're doing those things, we are perfectly fine. But all of those things that I just mentioned, we are operating on the outside of our proper human characteristics, because none of those things that I just named actually attributes to national prosperity for us. We were brought over here as captives, and they want us to remain that way. And if the slave speaks out against his oppressor, then they're deemed terrorists. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say. I also want to make a mention about Sister Joy DeGruy. I talk about her often. She spoke on the damage done by the real and major hate group, even though she didn't really call them out like that. I'm calling them that because that's what they really are. Against the real and major hate group, white supremacy is what this whole society is about. So I'm going to call it what it is. This hate group system is about white supremacy, which is now also SPLC. They both are cut up from the same cloth. Both evils are disguised as, guess what? Black Lives Matter, because they're hiding up underneath that banner. The so-called civil rights thing, they're hiding up under that too. Think about it. The civil rights was hijacked. Malcolm told you about that. The civil rights was actually hijacked, and they steered it in a different direction. And it was supposed to be about getting us equal rights and all of that. And it's not about that at all. It's about what they've done. They hijacked it and turned it into something else. Same thing that they did with Black Lives Matter. And they also did the same thing with religion, so-called religion. Christianity is white supremacy. So I'm going to say it again. All of these things that I just mentioned is actually in favor of white supremacy, and it is actually against black men. I'm going to just say it that way. It's against our ability to build collectively in righteousness. Just think about it. Black Lives Matter was really about gays. You got to have man and woman bringing forth children. So that kills that. And you saw what Black Lives Matter. We had a few episodes earlier talking about the real agenda of Black Lives Matter was to get rid of the man in the home. Exactly. So that is about getting rid of real black progress. If you get rid of the man, you ain't got nothing. You got only thing you have left is moldable, impressionable people that you can mold into anything. And that's exactly why the black man is the target. Okay? So Black Lives Matter is about getting rid of or emasculating the black man. Civil rights, I'm not talking about the genuine meaning behind it, because it was supposed to be for our uplifting. I'm telling you that it is hijacked. This whole election thing that's going on now is just about that. It's got really nothing to do with black power. And I'm going to just say it that way. They don't want you to have black power. They want white supremacy to flourish. And Christianity is the same thing. Christianity, that's about white supremacy off the bat. They done lied about Christ. So that's just telling you straight off the bat that none of these things are in favor of our rise. Okay? And SPLC is the umbrella of which all these things fit. They all work together. Okay? Now, again, a great evil upon the Jews. I remember last week we was talking about who are the Jews. Right. And what did the Bible have to, what is the information that the Bible says what happened to the Jews? And thus, by learning about the atrocities that happened to the Jews, and then look on this earth and you see that those atrocities fitted particular people. These are the Jews. Okay, let's go to that Daniel. Let's set that up. Give me Daniel. Let's read that again. Give me Daniel 9, and we'll go right to the point because we read it last week. Because we're gonna move kind of. I ain't gonna say we're gonna move fast, but we got some things that we want to bring out. Daniel 9 and 12.
The book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us.
And he confirmed his word. These are the words of God. Okay, go ahead.
By bringing upon us a great evil.
By bringing upon the Israelites a great evil. Go ahead.
For under the whole heaven.
This is how you find out who the Israelites are. When you find out who this great evil that the Bible is talking about, when you find out who this great evil happened to, therefore you will find out who the Israelites are. Read that again.
For under the whole heaven.
For on the entire planet Earth. Go ahead.
Hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem.
Have not been under the whole planet Earth has not been done that has been done upon the Israelites. Okay, y'all all right? I see y'all. Everything's good. Okay, that has not been done upon that has been done upon the Israelites. Okay, so now give me Deuteronomy 28. So the scriptures makes it clear. It says that the worst atrocities that happen underneath the heavens, meaning on the planet Earth, happen to the Israelites. Because when you look at through the documents of atrocities on this earth, that fits us, the Israelite, the so-called Negroes, the Hispanics, and the Indians. We suffered the absolute worst, and we're still suffering. Okay, so we got some stuff for you. Let's read that. Deuteronomy 28. Give me 68.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68.
Here's what God said about the worst atrocities happening to a people. Come on.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
You know what's amazing as we read this? Here's the Bible recording what literally happened to us. But yet when we go in church, the preachers don't bring this out.
Thank you.
The preachers don't bring this up. When I first read this, I said, wait a minute. You mean to tell me God actually cared enough to put our Holocaust in the greatest book on the planet, and a sick preacher won't read it? A black preacher won't read it. And he'll read it with some NIV garbage and talk about going back, and you offer yourselves all that BS and just lying to your own people. That is treacherous, brothers. Right. For you black preachers that's doing that is very treacherous. Here God says, you know what? I'm going to comfort you by letting you know that I know what happened to you. And I'm going to put it in my Bible for the whole world to read it. So when I redeem you, they're going to know why I'm redeeming you. Read it again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
And the Lord shall bring you into bondage again. Let me prove that. Go to Exodus. I don't usually do this because sometimes we think that these scriptures are redundant, but they're not. Right. There's always, I look at the comments after the show, and I see that new people be joining. Exactly. So they probably want to know where we're getting this information from. So we're going to break it down real quick. Exodus chapter 20, verse 2. Y'all listen up, because we're going to get it in.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
So this is in the second book of the Old Testament, the second book of the Torah, the second book of the Bible, okay? You had Genesis, which is the first book. Y'all know that. Then you have Exodus, which is the second book. In that book there's where the Israelites was making their exit out of Egypt. That's the reason why it's written the way it's written there. That was the actual 10 Commandments, which is the compilation of all of the laws, all 613 laws. That's what we conclude that's the total laws in the Bible. They fit within those 10 there. Read it again.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
So that's a past tense statement. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought you out. So we was out of the Egyptian bondage at that point. The Most High was he was underneath the leadership, taking us to the promised land. So the Egyptian captivity at that point was over. I want y'all to understand that. Your preacher should have showed you this.
Right.
Read that again.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
The past tense, I have brought you out of the land of Egypt. Then it tells you what Egypt means. Out of the house of bondage. Out of the house of bondage. Bondage, bondage. Okay? So that's what Egypt means, bondage. Now, let's go up to Deuteronomy, which is 3 books forward, further into the future. And this is the reason why Moses said what he said here.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
And the Lord shall bring the Israelites into bondage again.
With ships.
But how are you going to get to this bondage?
With ships.
With ships. Because we did not come out of Egypt with ships there. But he said, but you're going to go back into bondage, but this time you're going on ships. I don't know how plainer can language be. Once anybody reads that, that's it. Then you know that the whole world hates your guts because they hate for us to come to that understanding. That is easy to understand, clear, straight up. But what have these no good, spying, evil preachers have done? They have taken that and bastardized it, corrupted it, and gave you lies to put you back to sleep so that you can remain in perpetual slavery. That's some evil right there. So not only did a great evil fall upon us by our enemies, but our own people contribute to this evil.
Right.
Contribute to this evil. Read that again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
The thee are the Israelites. That's who Moses was speaking to. And the Lord shall bring the Israelites into bondage again with ships. That's how we was going to get there. That's talking about how in the world is God going to write this in the Bible? Check this out. How's God going to write in the Bible that a people was going to go into bondage on ships? Everybody on the planet knows that happened to us. Right. Put them slave ships up there. Find me a picture of them slave ships. And you think that the Lord is going to have this written in the Bible and it's not going to be talking about us? Are you sick? You really think that God is going to have that written in the Bible and then you got the actual history that verifies that? You're going to say, oh, that ain't talking about you. Show them ships, man. Throw that thing up there.
Hey, Deke, but anytime slavery is mentioned, who do you think about? It doesn't matter if it's mentioned in school.
Right.
It doesn't matter where it's mentioned. Church, who do you think about? You think about us. You don't think about anyone else.
Right.
Right.
Come on, get that picture up there. Let them see that. Read that thing again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
And the Lord shall bring the Israelites into bondage. Hold it. Don't go nowhere. I mean, keep that picture up there. Give me chapter 1, verse 1, so we can find out who Moses was speaking to. Chapter 1, verse 1, in the book of Deuteronomy. This is the 5th book. This is 3 books after we left ancient Egypt.
Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
Who did Moses speak to?
All Israel.
The Israelites. That's who Moses was talking to, the Israelites. That's the thee that he was talking about in the 28th chapter. Okay, read on.
On this side Jordan in the wilderness.
In the wilderness, because we came out of Egypt going into our homeland. That's the area that he's reading about there. Go ahead.
In the plain over against the Red Sea, between Paran and Tophel, and Laban, and Hazeroth, and Dizahab.
All praise to the Most High. So that's letting you know that we was out of Egypt, in the wilderness, going into our homeland. Okay? Who was Moses talking to? The nation of Israel. The 12 tribes of Israel. Now, let's go back to Deuteronomy 28:68.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68.
So, in the conditions of us breaking God's laws, like it would say in the 15th verse, if you don't obey the laws and the commandments that God has given us through Moses, he said that he will put curses on us. The 68th verse is one of the curses. Read that again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
If you disobey the laws of God, Israel, you're going back into bondage again, but this time you're going on ships. We didn't know what Moses was talking about. We had no clue. And that prophecy didn't come to pass way later. So we probably didn't even believe Moses. But surely, like the book of Luke said, and give me that real quick, Luke 21, all things that are written. Because we didn't believe it when Moses said it. But this is the reason why Christ had to come back and confirm what Moses said. 21 and this is Luke 21, verse 22, I think it is. For these be the days of vengeance.
Luke chapter 21, verse 22. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
That all things which are written in the law, written in Deuteronomy 28th chapter, that all things which are written may be fulfilled, meaning come to pass. That was in the time of Rome. Read that again.
For these be the days of vengeance.
In other words, it's time for these prophecies to catch up to you wicked Israelites that been breaking God's laws all the way since Moses. Now the judgment that God told you through Moses is getting ready to catch up on us now. And that's when the hell caught fire on us. Okay? That's when we were destroyed. Read.
That all things which are written may be fulfilled.
Go ahead.
But woe unto them that are with child.
But woe be unto the Israelites that be with children, little babies and all of that. Moses wrote about that in Deuteronomy, in the siege. Go ahead. When Jerusalem came in, that's literally what it was talking about. Read.
And to them that give suck in those days.
Meaning breastfeeding babies. They're babies. They can't run and keep up. Go ahead.
For there shall be great distress in the land.
For there shall be great distress and destruction in the land because Rome was coming to kill Israel. Go ahead.
And wrath upon this people.
And wrath from God upon Israel for disobeying the law of Moses. That's what that's talking about. Read.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
And the Israelites shall fall by the edge of the Roman sword, the violent that took the kingdom from Israel by force. Go ahead.
And shall be led away captive into all nations.
And the Israelites shall be led away into Egypt. That's captive, that's bondage. Shall be led away in bondage into all nations. So everywhere we went, we served slavery. That's what it's talking about. It's Ephraim, Gad, Manasseh, is all of us. That's what it's talking about. Read that again. Read that statement again. And shall be led.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
Come on.
And shall be led away captive into all nations.
We was led as slaves into all nations. Go ahead.
And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles.
And Jerusalem shall have the Gentiles, the nations in there calling themselves Jews. That's what it's talking about. Go ahead.
Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
So how long are they going to be in there? Until their time is up. Until the Most High bring back the true Israelites out of captivity, and we're going to rule this planet Earth. That's when their time going to be up. That's the reason. And the SPLC is trying to stop that. They view the Bible as terrorism. That's why they're trying to get rid of the Bible. Don't think it's just us because of our black skin. They hate what this Bible is talking about. Right. They hate the message that this Bible is talking about. They hate the resurrecting power of the laws and the commandments of God working to clean our people up. That's what they are against.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That's what they are against. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now let's go back to Deuteronomy because I'm still dealing with the new brothers. Mm-hmm. Deuteronomy 28:16. Let's finish that up because, again, the preachers either should close up their church, right, and come learn because they're doing a horrible disservice by lying to our people purposely for filthy lucre, like the scriptures say. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. Mm-hmm. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
And the Lord shall bring you into captivity, what it say, in all nations with ships. That's what we was looking at. Put them ships back up there again. Put them ships back up there again. And it's mainly talking about what happened to us coming over here in the ships, because this is the primary Egypt that the Most High is talking about. That's the reason why this place is going to be destroyed by God with fire. Okay, show them ships up there. Okay, that's what it's. Read it again.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With ships. That's how we got here. Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
Exactly the way Moses recorded the slave trade is exactly the way it happened. The yokes of iron on our neck, all that is in here. That's what that part means when it says, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. The exact way that Moses wrote it down was exactly the way it's going to happen. Just letting you know who the Israelites are. Read.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
We have not seen our homeland no more again. We don't even know where our homeland is. That's the reason why the Bible says, because of our captivity, we are dumber than an ox and an ass. When you read the book of Isaiah chapter 1 and 3, we don't know that God is our power, meaning we don't know who our owner is. We think white man and Christianity is our owner. The Most High and this Bible is what owns us. It said the Lord, it says, the ox knoweth his owner, and the jackass knows where his crib is, meaning he knows where his land is at. We don't know neither. Then after that it says, and my people Israel do not consider these things. Why? Because the nations have conspired together to cut the name of Israel out. That's what's written in the book of Psalms 83. They said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in their remembrance. That's the job of SPLC. That's the job of the media. And then they're going to try to say that we're a hate group. And we have to deal with this, reading this claim all the time as if we're a hate group. Right. We have had not one incident of our members that was involved in any criminal activity, and if any were, we would definitely, just like that thing say, we would turn them in. They know that, but what they're going to do, they try to find and make and manufacture an association to try to sully the whole group. They don't even care about the so-called people that they'll go after. They say we want to demonize this resurrecting power that's coming from this group, the Israelites, IUIC in particular. That's what it's about. Read on.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
Thou shalt see your homeland no more again. You won't even see it spiritually. You don't even know that Israel belongs to you, and not those people who they have manufactured as Jews. They have manufactured a group of people that say these are the Jews, and you're happy with that because your preachers, what the scriptures say, they're swifter than what it say. They're like foxes in the desert. These preachers, they have lied to our people, and they should have told us the truth. Because God requires you to know the truth. That's why he had his Bible written for you. Read.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
That's crystal clear. So when you put them ships back up there again. Put them ships back up there again. When you get off those ships, my brothers and sisters, ye shall be sold. If you're going to be sold, that means there was a seller and a purchaser. In order for you to be sold. Sold is the past tense of sell. So what do they mean in the so-called NIV talking about something you will offer to sell yourselves and no man and what does it say? You shall offer yourselves as slaves, but no man will buy you.
Nobody
will want to buy you. Then you're not sold then.
That's how twisted it is. You can't even understand it.
Exactly. And you sitting up there in church talking about something, we getting the gospel. You're getting the gospel all right. Crack. That's what you're getting. Read that statement again.
And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
And there, when you get to this new Egypt, wherever we went, where them ships took us, we shall be sold unto our enemies for slaves. That's what bondmen and bondwomen are, slaves. And no one shall redeem you from this slavery. And we're going to read some stuff to show you that we're still in captivity. Actually, it's actually worse now. And we're going to show you that. All right? So, give me the 64th verse.
Verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth, even unto the other.
You see how crystal clear this Bible is once you got crack Christianity out of your mind? Could you imagine reading this and you got crack Christianity in your head? You won't get none of this understanding. All this information is super clear to the clear-minded that have been baptized in Christ, so you can understand. Meaning baptized with the water of the scriptures to clean your brain from the filth that you have learned. I ain't talking about dipping yourself in the pool. I ain't talking about that at all. You'll be a thief, a whoremonger, a criminal, and you get dipped in water, you just come out as a wet one, a wet criminal, a wet whoremonger, a wet drug dealer. That ain't the kind of baptism the Most High is talking about. The water is symbolic of what the Bible is supposed to do to your brain, meaning wash your brain. Yes, your brains need to be washed because your minds are dirty with lies. Read that statement again.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth, even unto the other.
And on them slave ships. Go ahead.
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
Christianity. That's what it's talking about. Serving politics. That's what it's talking about. I'm going to vote for Biden. Another one talking about I'm going to vote. None of these people going to save you.
Right.
The Bible tells you that crystal clear. We watch for a nation that could not save us. And we looking to this nation for our vain help. And the Lord said, you ain't going to get it. Your help is vain because you wasn't brought over here to mingle yourself in this society. We was brought over here because of what Moses said, because we broke God's laws. We're supposed to be in Jerusalem. That's where we're supposed to be. What the hell are we doing over here? Read.
which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
No, our fathers never taught us about this garbage. Go ahead.
Even wood and stone.
Churches, your worship a cross, they got that mess going on. And also stone, the Kaaba, talk about Islam, a Kaaba stone. That's evil. That ain't what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be keeping the commandments of God, the living God. Not no damn stone, not some wood in a church. That ain't what it's talking about. The living God of the scriptures is supposed to live within you to change your life, to change your mind, to make you walk upright. Read.
And among these nations shalt thou find no ease.
That's what Daniel was talking about. And among the nations where we were scattered, we shall find no ease, no rest. Go ahead.
Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest.
Neither shall the soul of our. We're always on the move, always worrying. That's what it's talking about. We can't get no kind of comfort, no kind of satisfaction. That's the reason why we drink excessively, getting drunk, sell dope, taking all kinds of hallucinatory drugs and all of that, because we're not getting any rest in this system, because we are in constant hell. And we're trying to find some kind of way to ease the hell.
Right.
Through getting drunk, through getting high, through all kinds of illicit sexual fornication and all of that. That's what that's all about. And our enemies love it. And they are grievous because someone came to the aid of the Israelites, meaning the Bible. So they hate IUIC, trust me. They can't stand us. They want us all dead. Right. We understand it. But your arms are too short to box with God. You ain't gonna win this one.
Right.
You might get a couple of us with your sully campaign and all that, but you ain't gonna stop this gospel. And like I always say, you might get me physically, but I'm coming back to hang your ass when in the kingdom come. I'm just letting you know straight.
Bring it out.
This gospel ain't stopping. We gonna get the glory.
That's right.
The scriptures say we're gonna get it. Okay? Read.
But the Lord shall give thee.
And yes, asses in the Bible too. Give me that in Isaiah 1 and 3.
Yeah, help them out.
Okay.
Help them out.
Oh, there you go. We got a reason to shut them down. They said ass.
Right.
Isaiah chapter 1 verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner.
God says that the ox knows who his owner is.
And
A dumb animal, stubborn animal like an ox, but the ox knows where he gets food from. He knows where when he gets tired and he needs shelter, he knows where to go.
Who his supply
Who his supply is. Go ahead. The ox knows that. Go ahead.
And the ass his master's crib.
And the jackass knows where his land is at. When you can take a jackass way away from home, as they say, and it'll always find its way back home. But go ahead.
But Israel doth not know.
But the other side of those two dumb animals is the Israelites. But the Israelites do not know neither of these things. Go ahead.
My people doth not consider.
My people, the Israelites, do not consider. What the Most High said? He said an ass. So there it is. He said that we're dumber than an ass. Okay? Dumber than an ox and an ass. So all praise to the Most High. Now,
we're trying to change that, D.
Yeah, he's trying to change that. Because the Israelites are waking up.
Right,
Go ahead.
exactly.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 65. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest.
Neither shall the soul of the Israelites. They're always tired, always got to be on the move, because something is always gaining on us. That's what it's really talking about. When it says among these nations thou shalt find no ease, there's always somebody looking to kill us. And we always have to watch our back. There's an oppression system. The air is oppressive. Everything, and they've created this kind of hell for us. That's the reason why the Bible says in other parts, it says that our heavens shall be as brass, and our feet shall be as iron, meaning a terrible distressed life. That's what it's talking about. And in addition to that, it's talking about them slavery articles that they had upon us too. Chains and iron leggings and chains, shackles on our feet, and brass bells above our heads. So whenever we tried to run off the plantation, those bells told you that the so-called master going to find you. Read.
But the Lord shall give thee there a
But the Lord shall give you in your Egypt. Listen now. In your Egypt, that's the same thing that Deuteronomy 28 was talking about. But the Lord shall give thee there, and those in the Egypt where I send you, what are he going to give us?
A trembling heart.
That's the reason why we can't get rest, because we are trembling, because our enemies are on us all the time, trying to speak evil about us, trying to sully us, trying to malign us, trying to slander us. That's what it's talking, to set us up, miseducate our children, prostitute our women. That's what this is about. And we worry. As fathers, we worry about
Right.
that. As mothers, we worry about our children. But the enemy is out to kill them. SPLC is out to kill them. Straight up. They're just nice, and they're pretending to be all nice with their soft-spoken voices. They're venomous. They're nice snakes, so you can understand. Okay? Read.
And failing of eyes.
And failing of eyes. Failing of eyes meaning you have no vision. Failing of eyes meaning you cannot see beyond your particular scope of life. Your life is dope. Your life is drugs. Your life is despair. Your life is no prosperity. Your life is poverty. Your life is self-hate. So your eyes fail because you can't see your way out of that, because none of the leaders are even dealing with our people properly to even give them some direction. So our people are left in a cesspool of despair, a cesspool of self-hate, a cesspool of destruction, mental destruction, psychiatric destruction, physical destruction. That's where we're left. So our eyes fail because we can't see our way out of this thing. Go ahead.
And sorrow of mind.
And sorrow of mind, because your mind, you can't think. They're giving us all kinds of dope music, movies, all kinds of things to keep our minds clogged up and preoccupied in foolishness, where you never have any time to properly think, where you can figure and have some vision to try to get out of the captivity that you're in. They don't want that. What they used to tell the slaves on the ship, they said, dance.
Right.
Dance, because if you're sitting too still, they say you might be thinking.
Right.
Make them dance. Give them some music. Start fiddler. Come on, get that thing.
Right. That's right.
That's what that was about.
Right.
Go ahead. You gonna say something?
If you put enough toys in the animal cage, you forget it's in a cage.
Exactly. There you go. That's what we're talking about.
Exactly.
That's what they did. Gave Negroes all kinds of toys. What did that guy said from the Clippers? I give them cars.
Oh, yeah.
I give them houses. I give them all kinds of things.
Right.
Keep
Keep him occupied.
him occupied. Like he's a doggone kid.
He said, I give him what Deuteronomy 28:48 said
Right.
I'm going to give him.
Exactly. Read.
And sorrow of mind.
And sorrow of mind. Go ahead.
And thy life shall hang in doubt.
And the
before
life of the Israelites, the great evil that's upon us, is that our life shall hang in doubt. Our children's lives hang in doubt. Our lives hang in doubt. They hunt our steps, the Bible says. Go ahead.
And thou shalt fear day and night.
And we are in fear, constant terror. You want to talk about terrorism? The so-called white man is the terrorist. The terrorist of the planet Earth. He terrorized. What do you think slavery was about?
Right.
But all of those torturous acts that they did, those was actions of terrorism. Which is, what does terror, when you they have a definition about what terrorism does. Whenever they tear up something, you have a phobia, you have a fear, you have a trauma about that particular thing. So they traumatize you so that you will stay away from the source of the trauma. What did white America do? They traumatize us into the mold of being a slave. And if you even dare to come out of the mold of being a slave, we're going to do things to you. We're going to sully you. We're going to cut you off. We're going to destroy your financial, like they're doing with these sports figures. All of that is terrorism, brothers and sisters. So we are terrorized. They're calling us a hate group. You're the hate group.
Right.
We just don't like your oppression. And because we're speaking up against it, you're going to speak against us. Talking about we a hate group. We're going to get you. Read. Let's finish that up, and then we're going to get into these articles. I ain't letting them off the hook today. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
And thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life.
And we shall have no guarantee of our life. You know, so-called white folks, they can actually have that's deep, and have no assurance of your life. Black folk in this country, I'm going to just use the Israelites. We can't even, you really think about it. We cannot comfortably plan our lives beyond a year or two. You understand? Because these people, this terrorist society takes responsibility for our future. Listen to what I'm about to say. They took responsibility for our future. In other words, they said you are allowed to only think 1 year from where you are, because we control your banking. We control all aspects of your life. You have to come to us and beg for us to give you any kind of liberty at all. So we are in control of that. So by default, we're going to say, you know what? There's no need for me to even think because we have to come to the same enemy that hate us. So a lot of times that fixes us into the present. Okay, they robbed us from our past, lied, so you can't even reflect on that. So if your past is robbed and your future is uncertain, where they actually manipulate that, what does that do for us? That fixes us in the immediate present. You only live for the present. And if you only live for the present, let me just spend all my money now. Let me just live for the moment now because I'm uncertain about my future and I know nothing about my past. So that makes the perfect consumer. That's the reason why we can spend billions of dollars a year and it doesn't matter. That's the reason why, because we have we have nothing else left. We can't plan. White folks in other countries, other peoples don't have that problem. They can be abstinent. They can hold on to their savings because they're thinking 20 and 30, 40 years down the line. We can't even think 40 minutes. So what does that do? That automatically fixes you in the present. And our enemies know that. That's the reason why all of the stores are in our community, because all the thing is left for us to do is spend now. What? You want me to save? Hell, I might be dead next week. That's the mentality. So they know that. They know that. Read.
And shalt have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, would God it were even. And at even thou shalt say, would God it were morning. For the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see.
For the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And that other part where it says in the morning and the evening, read that statement again. Because I just explain what I said earlier about having no assurance. Go back to that and that part that I was breaking down.
No assurance?
Yes.
And shalt have none assurance of thy life.
Being that we don't have any assurance of our lives, we cannot really plan successfully. We can't even really have decisive planning because we don't know where we're going to be from one year to the next. People that's not living up under this curse, they can think 5 and 10 and 15 years down the road. We cannot do that comfortably because any event can happen and just change our whole course. My son got shot up and murdered, and that just changed my whole course. My daughter just got raped. That just changed the whole course of where I was thinking. So if this is constantly happening to a terrorized people, we can never focus on doing anything prosperous for us. The SPLC loves that confusion in our people. And here we are, we're trying to bring the antidote to our people. And they say, you're a hate group for bringing out that antidote. Leave them in the fire where we can continue to exploit them. Read that again.
And shalt have none assurance of thy life.
And we shall have no assurance of our life. We can't plan. We can't vision. We can't imagine. No image, no nothing. They took our Jesus from us.
Right.
They took our imagery from us, took everything that would normally give a people some kind of guide. They took all our guides away, took our teachers, our proper teachers, took any kind of educating mediums that would uplift us. They took any hope. They got rid of all of that.
Right.
And for one group to come up and bring the Bible to them, you deem them a hate group. I pray that the Lord kill every last one of you for your evil against the children of the Most High.
Right.
Read.
Right.
In the morning thou shalt say, would God it were even. And
would God even meaning help me make it to the evening because I'm not even sure I'm going to live to see the night.
Right.
Go ahead.
Would God it were, excuse me. And at even thou shalt say, would God it were morning.
Meaning, let me hope that I can make it to another day.
Right.
We might die in our sleep. Go ahead.
For the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear.
Why is it that we praying just to make it to the next day? Because of the fear that our eyes are seeing. Meaning we're living that. That's the great evil that fell upon the real Jews, the Israelites. Go ahead.
For the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear. And for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see.
And the sight of thine eyes, we see dope, drugs. We see all the terrible things. Turn on the television. Only thing you do, you see your people being comedians, sports figures, stuff like that, but nothing serious.
Right.
No hope. He said, listen, you ain't got no leaders among you. And if you do get one, we're going to take him out. We're going to assassinate him. We're going to get rid of him. We're going to do it nicely. We're going to say that they're a hate group. That's how we're going to do it. We're going to sully them, hopefully that you will believe us, so when we kill them, you won't be upset with us. Because they want to move the people against us. Read.
That's all.
Y'all want to get something in?
You was rolling there, and it was so much being said that even the things that play back through my mind, even that's happening now, you know, when you brought up, we talk about the George Floyd. Now, we ain't heard that in a while, have we?
Right.
That's don't got quiet, okay? Right. What about the man that was in his house, the woman supposed to be the cop coming there, she shot him in the house.
Taylor,
right.
Breonna
you know,
Taylor.
you in there eating ice cream, you know, you know, that's terrorism, okay? Right. And you terrorize, you see these things go on from month to month, year to year, okay? And then they terrorize you, and then all of a sudden, you know, don't speak about these things. It's over with. Let's give them a 4th of July. Let's have a cookout. Okay. Oh, let's give them one of these holidays. Okay, Christmas, you know, Easter. They give you all these things and say, don't speak about these things. But our people still terrorize, and we see the same process over and over again. Now that we have somebody that comes out in the streets and open up the Bible and teach and show our people what's going on with them, why these things are happening. Oh, well, these people are the hate group,
right?
You know, but you've been terrorizing us,
right?
Not us.
Exactly.
We're trying to give our people hope. Okay.
The scriptures say, "Never trust thine enemy." That's the part. That's the problem right there. We don't know who our enemies are. God told you there in Deuteronomy 28:68. He says, "Ye shall be sold unto your enemies." He's making it clear who your enemies are. So how in the world are they going to come up and tell you that your own brother that was on the same slave ship with you is a hate group? Because they're speaking up to try to liberate you. They turn around the man that's chained up beside you. He's a hate group. He's hate. He's hate. Meanwhile, the damn demon is over us, taking us into slavery. You looking at them like they're Jesus. That's terrorism. For our minds to be broken to that point where we actually believe that somebody that's trying to resurrect us from all of the ugliness that you literally see and live every day, you're going to allow them to tell you that we're a hate group. That's
terrorism. That's some terrorism.
That's something else.
Right. Then you can't even send your child off to college.
No.
You know, because there again, there's trembling of heart.
Exactly.
There's failing of eyes. When you think you see some hope,
exactly,
then it fails you. And then the sorrow of mind come back on you again. You know, and then there it is, the doubt. Okay,
right. Exactly.
all that stuff. This is like a combo package. You can't pick and choose which one. It's all together.
Exactly.
It's all together.
Exactly. And then they put on TV. They make you think that the so-called American dream is something that's attainable. They'll find a few of us, say, make a few videos, put this and do that, and put a few dots as prominence and tell the whole captive people to look up to that. Right. And we have to sell every daggone thing, our soul, our backside, our front side, our side, we got to sell all of that out to get something for a little bit of time.
Right. Right. And then we look for a nation. Right. They say we look for a nation, we're not help. We look for the police to come in our communities to help and put a stop to these things. But they be the ones that just terrorize us. You know, I'm scared to see the police come knocking on my door now.
That's really something you got to see. You see, that's another level of fear. When white folks call the police, they feel like that's their brother calling.
Right.
They feel comfortable. Like that woman in Central Park that called the police on the... She said, my cavalry is coming. And we going to lock your behind up. And she was twisting on the dog yelping and choking the damn dog. And said, see that? They hear what you're doing to me. Oh, he's raping me. He's that. Oh, here they come in weaponizing the police with their guns. They come in, and the brothers are scared to death, knowing damn well he's innocent. This is the terror that black people live in all the time, dealing with these evil people. You call us a hate group. The KKK, I saw a comment. Hey, give me a second. Go to that. I want to say, I sent a comment. Like I said, I watched the videos right there. Put that up there. This brother, on one of our videos, this was his comment. Yeah, I'm going to give him, I guess he get a little shine. He says, so since the KKK are Christians, does that mean, I know what he meant. Does that mean all Christians are a hate group? Check that out. But they don't do that. They don't say that. The KKK said that they're Christians.
They say
but you don't say Christianity is a hate group.
Right.
See, they don't make the association there. They don't make the association there. So this is the ugliness that we live in. Give me Isaiah 14 and the 3rd verse, and then we're going to get into our article. because I put that up there because I'm getting ready to go into something.
And Dick, before you go into your what's called, can I post a picture? I want to show you something just right quick.
Yeah, but let them read that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's get that out the way.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 3. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow.
What did the Bible say? That among these nations where we will be at, we shall have no ease, and neither shall the sole of our feet have rest, for the terrorism shall be all around us. The Lord said there's going to come a day when I'm going to relieve you from all of that. That's the day we're waiting for. And the SBLC, you can't do a damn thing to stop it. Read.
Rest from thy sorrow.
Read it again. And it shall come to pass.
And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow.
We're looking for the day where the Lord give us rest from this captivity. Listen, he going to give us rest from what?
Thy sorrow.
From thy sorrow. Remember we was reading about the sorrow of mine. I'm letting you know that's the precept. He said you should have sorrow of mind. The Lord said he's going to give you rest from that. He's going to mend our minds, our broken minds. He's going to mend them in righteousness. Go ahead.
And from thy fear.
He said he's going to relieve us from the fear that we fear day and night. And what else is he going to do?
And from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve.
And the Lord said he's also going to take us from the hard bondage. That's the Egypt there. He said that he shall relieve us from the hard bondage wherein we was made to serve. That chapter is talking about Babylon the Great. That's what the next verse is talking about, that we shall take this parable against the king of Babylon and say, how has the oppressor ceased? Because the oppressor is going to cease when the Israelites are taken out of captivity, because this whole system rides and thrives on our bondage. But if the bondage is lifted and we are saved, Babylon is gone.
Right.
That's what that's exact. Read the fourth verse.
Verse 4. And that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon.
Go ahead.
And say, how hath the oppressor ceased?
How has the oppressor, the slave master, how has he ceased? How has SPLC ceased? Go ahead.
The golden city ceased.
That's America. That's the reason why I wanted him to read that. The golden city. Why is an American the golden city? Because she robbed all the nations and took everybody else's gold and put everybody in slavery. That's Christopher Columbus's philosophy, and they all believe that. That's the reason why they still honor him. Okay? So when we're taken out of captivity, everything stops. Why? Because a world economy was made off of us. And it's even worse now than it was back then. Okay? I got an article that I'm going to read later on. And the article is entitled, let me just look at it. What was it? The article was Ending Slavery Made America Richer. I'm going to read that later because a lot of people can't even understand that statement. By slavery being ended, America actually got more prosperous in the exploitation of black folk and the exploitation of the Israelites that is in bondage. Okay, we're going to talk about that in the second half of our show. Now, go ahead, Captain.
And you speaking of exploitation of black folk. Put that picture up. I'm going to show you exploitation. You just read it. You just read it. If you think voting going to help you and bring you out of this, you don't lost your mind. We here to tell you, you don't lost your mind. It's not going to help you. Look at that. When did Biden start visiting the black churches now all of a sudden? Okay? Y'all are fool. It's around lecture time, ain't it? Am I right? This is the only time when you see these people come to so-called aid.
A photo op.
Right. Are you crazy? And then look back in the very back over their head. There again. The idolatry.
That's
the
crazy.
false image.
Wow,
Okay? You expecting that white man to save you? You can forget it. So I just want to put that at the tie right
now.
in.
That's heavy because, you know, you can buy a black vote cheap. That's basically what he's saying. All you got to do is just act like you with them. Just claim to be Black Lives Matter, claim to be civil rights. But it was up underneath. Just I ain't into this politics stuff, but it was underneath the Democratic Biden, Clinton, all them Democrats where black people suffered the worst. The prison population went boom under them. Wow. Okay, so I'll save that for another show.
Right.
Give me Nehemiah chapter 2. This is what the problem is. I'm going to stay on SPLC for a minute. Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 10. I'm going to just get right to the meat.
Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 10. When Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the servant, the Ammonite.
These have a mind in opposition to Israel. Evil, okay? Meaning they are against the Israelites, against the building of Israel, against the resurrection and the rebuilding of the temple, the rebuilding of Israel. That's what time period this is. Nehemiah and Ezra coming out of the Persian coming out of Babylon and under Persia, and Persia was giving us the liberty to go back and build. Read that again.
When Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the servant, the Ammonite,
Go ahead.
heard
about Israel rebuilding. Go ahead.
it grieved them exceedingly.
It grieved the SPLC grievously when they saw that there was people that was trying to resurrect our people from dope, resurrect our people from fornication, resurrect our people from drugs, promiscuity, crime. It grieved the people. It grieved SPLC. Go ahead.
That there was come a man to seek the welfare of the children of Israel.
That's crystal clear. That's what they are upset about, because the Most High is sending the prophets back to resurrect the Israelites through his word, and we seek the Most High through Israel, the Israelites, the prophets. We seek the welfare, the well-being, the wellness of the children of Israel, and our enemies hate that. So they're the real hate group. The real hate group. Same thing happened during the time of Egypt with Moses. They wanted to kill Moses. He was there seeking the welfare of the people.
Right.
Okay. Same thing with Christ in the time of Rome, seeking the welfare of the people. They wanted to kill Christ. So the same thing that they want to do with us too. Same thing. Ain't nothing changed. The same demons are still trying to. They're the Antichrist. To be honest, that's the real Antichrist. Them. That's what you, and all you people that's in the churches, you know we telling the truth. You might not like us because we don't look as spiffy as your preacher with his nice steamed collar and his gaiters on and his luminous background and all that.
Right.
You might deem us as uncouth. Oh, they're not on the level of our famous astute esoteric pastors and so forth. You might be thinking on that level, but you know what you're hearing is facts. You know that. You know that. Okay? That's right. So like I said, our enemies are grieved at that thing. All right. So let's go ahead and take the break so we can get right into it. Let's take our break and we'll be right back. We got these scriptures out now. We're getting ready to bang you in the head with these articles so that you can see that what we're telling you on this program is the truth.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone, 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.